It was a sunny afternoon on Earth, and the air was filled with laughter and joy. Children played in the park, their giggles echoing in the gentle breeze. Among them was a bright-eyed boy named Alex. He was only 10 years old, with messy brown hair and a smile that could light up any room. Today, he was playing tag with his friends, running around the tall trees and climbing on the jungle gym. Little did anyone know that their happiness would soon turn into horror. As Alex chased his friend Emma, they ran toward a small hill in the park. The sun shone brightly and everything felt perfect. "You can't catch me?" Alex shouted, his voice full of excitement. But then, out of nowhere, a shadow darkened the sky. The laughter faded as the children looked up, their eyes wide with fear. A massive alien spaceship hovered above them, blocking out the sun. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen, dark and menacing with bright lights flashing along its surface. The adults in the park froze in shock and a deep sense of dread filled the air. Suddenly, the ship fired a powerful beam of energy down toward the park. The beam struck the ground, and a blinding flash of light exploded across the area. People screamed and chaos erupted. Alex's friends scattered, looking for safety, but he stood frozen in fear. He could see the destruction around him, trees split in half, playground equipment blown to pieces, and the once peaceful park turned into a war zone. "Mom! Dad!" Alex shouted, searching for his parents in the confusion. But the sounds of panic drowned out his cries. As he turned to run, he saw a flash of light in the distance. The beam from the alien ship had destroyed everything in its path. He realized that many people were hurt and some were lying on the ground, motionless. In that moment, Alex's world shattered. He ran toward the nearest adult, a man who was helping a woman who had fallen. "Please, help me find my parents," he pleaded, tears streaming down his face. The man looked at him with sorrowful eyes. "We need to get everyone to safety first. Stay close to me." As they moved through the chaos, Alex's heart raced. He could hear the distant sounds of sirens and the cries of people in pain. The air was thick with smoke, and the ground was littered with debris. Suddenly, another blast from the alien ship rocked the ground, sending Alex tumbling to the ground. The man quickly grabbed him and shielded him with his body. "Stay down!" the man shouted, covering Alex as more explosions lit up the sky. Alex felt fear grip him, but he also felt a glimmer of hope. This stranger was protecting him. Maybe they would escape this nightmare together. After what felt like an eternity, the attacks finally ceased, and the alien ship began to ascend, leaving destruction in its wake. As it flew away, the park was silent except for the cries of those injured and the distant wails of emergency vehicles approaching. The man helped Alex to his feet, but his eyes were filled with sorrow. "Where are your parents?" the man asked, trying to keep calm. Alex shook his head, unable to speak. His heart sank as he thought about the chaos that had just unfolded. "We need to find them," the man said firmly. "Stay with me and we will search together." As they began to walk through the park, Alex looked around at the devastation. He saw people helping each other, but the scene was heartbreaking. His thoughts were filled with worry. What if my parents are hurt? What if they're... He couldn't finish the thought. The fear was too much. Finally, they reached a gathering of people near the entrance of the park. Medics were tending to the injured and families searched for their loved ones. Alex spotted a woman who looked familiar, but as he got closer, he realized it wasn't his mother. The pain in his heart grew heavier. Hours passed, and the sun began to set, casting an orange glow over the destruction. The once lively park was now a scene of chaos and despair. Alex clutched the man's hand tightly, tears in his eyes. "I want to go home," he whispered. But home was gone. In that moment, the weight of loss and fear settled heavily on Alex's small shoulders. He had lost more than just a sunny day. He had lost his childhood innocence. The world around him was changing, and he didn't know how to cope with it. As night fell, the sounds of sirens filled the air. General Maria Carter and her team were already in the command center, monitoring the news and witnessing the tragedy unfold on their screens. The reports poured in, detailing the destruction and loss of life. "We cannot let this go unanswered," she said, her voice filled with determination. "We need to protect our planet." Little did they know, this incident would ignite a fire within humanity, leading to a fierce retaliation against the alien forces that dared to attack. The seeds of revenge were sown, and soon humanity would unite to reclaim their home. The news of Alex's tragic death spread like wildfire across Earth, Anger and sadness filled every corner of the planet. In a high-tech command center, the leaders of Earth gathered to discuss a plan for revenge. They knew they had to respond fiercely to this senseless attack. The time for talk was over. Action was necessary. General Maria Carter, a fierce and respected leader, stood at the head of the table. Her eyes burned with determination as she addressed the room full of military leaders and scientists. We cannot allow this to go unanswered. They killed a child, and now we must show them the strength of humanity. Her voice was steady but filled with emotion. Everyone nodded, feeling the weight of her words. The room buzzed with ideas. Scientists began sharing their most advanced technologies. Dr. Kim, a brilliant engineer, spoke up. We have been developing a new fleet of warships, Dreadnoughts, equipped with cloaking devices and AI-controlled weaponry. If we deploy them, we can catch the aliens by surprise. The mention of Dreadnoughts caught everyone's attention. These ships were the most advanced ever created, designed specifically to protect Earth from threats like the aliens. Each ship was enormous, capable of carrying thousands of soldiers and equipped with powerful energy weapons. The scientists explained that the cloaking devices would make the ships invisible, allowing them to approach the enemy undetected. Imagine this, Dr. Kim continued, excitement building in her voice. We can launch a surprise attack while they think they are safe. Our AI systems can analyze enemy movements and suggest the best strategies in real time. We can turn the tide in our favor. General Carter nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. We need to move quickly. I want the first wave of Dreadnoughts ready for launch within 24 hours. We must avenge Alex's death and show the universe that humanity will not be bullied. As preparations began, a team of soldiers trained tirelessly. Among them was Commander Sarah Thompson, a skilled fighter and strategist who had once been Alex's teacher. She felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. For Alex, she whispered to herself as she prepared for battle. Her heart burned with the desire to protect the innocent and ensure no other child would suffer the same fate. In the days that followed, the atmosphere on Earth changed. People rallied together, their spirits lifted by the promise of revenge. Communities organized events to support the troops, and everywhere, there were messages of hope and unity. "We stand together!" became the slogan, plastered on posters and banners. Meanwhile, the scientists worked around the clock, refining the Dreadnoughts and testing their systems. As the launch date approached, the tension in the air was palpable. Soldiers and their families gathered for a final briefing, where Commander Sarah stood before them, ready to inspire her team. "Today we fight not just for ourselves, but for Alex and all those who cannot fight for themselves," she declared. Her voice resonated in the hearts of the soldiers, igniting their determination. "We are not just fighting aliens, we are fighting for our future. Together we will show them that humanity is strong and resilient." As the countdown to launch began, families watched from the command center, their hearts pounding with hope and fear. Each person knew that many would not return, but they also understood the importance of this mission. They believed in their soldiers and the power of their technology. Finally, the moment arrived. The massive Dreadnoughts, cloaked in advanced technology, prepared to leave the launch bays. As the ships ascended into the sky, their engines roared to life, and the soldiers inside felt the thrill of impending battle. Commander Sarah looked out from the bridge of her ship, her heart filled with determination. "Let's show them what we are made of!" she shouted, and the crew cheered in response. The Dreadnoughts flew towards the stars, ready to unleash their power on the alien forces. Each ship was a symbol of humanity's strength and unity, and with each passing moment they moved closer to revenge. The mission had begun, and Earth was ready to fight back. The day of the launch had finally arrived. The atmosphere around the command center was electric with anticipation. Families, friends, and soldiers gathered, all united by one purpose: to avenge Alex and defend their planet. Banners waved in the wind, reading, "For Alex and humanity will prevail." The spirit of determination filled the air. Commander Sarah Thompson stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the enormous Dreadnoughts lined up for launch. Each ship gleamed under the bright lights of the launch bay, a symbol of humanity's resolve. They were more than just ships. They represented hope, strength, and the promise of justice. The powerful engines hummed softly, almost as if they were eager to be unleashed upon the universe. As the countdown began, Sarah felt her heart race. This is it, she thought. We are ready to show the aliens that humanity will not stand down. Her mind was filled with memories of Alex. the innocent child whose life had been cut short. She wanted to fight for him and ensure that no one else would suffer the same fate. In the command center, General Maria Carter and the other military leaders monitored the launch from a large screen. The room was buzzing with excitement and tension. Every second felt like an eternity as they awaited the moment when the Dreadnoughts would rise into the sky. 3, 2, 1, launch! General Carter shouted. With a thunderous roar, the Dreadnoughts ignited their engines and soared into the sky. The sight was breathtaking. Flames shot out from the rear of each ship, illuminating the darkened sky as they climbed higher and higher. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. People hugged and cried tears of joy, knowing that their loved ones were on those ships, ready to fight for their future. As the Dreadnoughts ascended into space, they activated their cloaking devices, becoming invisible to enemy radar. This was the moment the scientists had worked tirelessly for, and it was finally happening. Sarah, aboard her flagship, the USS Valor, monitored the systems carefully. Stealth mode engaged, announced the ship's AI, a soothing voice that filled the bridge. Good, Sarah replied, feeling a surge of confidence. Let's move into position. The crew of the USS Valor worked efficiently, following the plans they had practiced over and over. The tension on the ship was palpable, but they all shared a common goal. As they traveled through the dark void of space, Sarah looked out at the stars. This is for Alex, she whispered to herself, determined to honor the memory of the child they all loved. She thought about the families on Earth waiting for news, and she knew they had to succeed. Hours passed as they approached the alien territory. The vastness of space surrounded them, and the Dreadnoughts moved in formation, ready for battle. Commander Sarah communicated with the other ships through their advanced communication systems. We are approaching the enemy's outer defenses. Remember our training and stay focused. The AI systems of the Dreadnoughts began analyzing the alien ships and their movements. We have detected multiple enemy vessels ahead, the AI reported. They are heavily armed and unprepared for our attack. Now is our chance, Sarah said, her heart racing. Let's show them what we've got. With a swift command, the Dreadnoughts emerged from their cloaked state. The enemy ships were caught off guard, their sensors not detecting the human fleet until it was too late. Explosions lit up the dark space as the Dreadnoughts fired their powerful energy weapons. The battle had begun. Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline as she gave orders to her crew. Target the lead ship! Fire! The USS Valor shook with the force of its own weapons as it unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, hitting the alien vessel and causing it to explode in a brilliant flash. The battle intensified as more Dreadnoughts joined the fray. The space around them was filled with laser beams and explosions, creating a chaotic but beautiful sight. Sarah's heart swelled with pride as she watched her crew work together flawlessly, their training paying off. As they advanced, they fought with everything they had. The sound of explosions echoed in the air, and the once dark space was now filled with the light of battle. Commander Sarah Thompson led her crew with courage, determined to protect her planet and honor Alex's memory. Keep pushing! We will not back down! Sarah shouted as they fought their way deeper into the enemy formation. With each successful strike against the alien ships, they felt the thrill of victory, and with each explosion, they drew closer to their goal. The epic battle continued, but now humanity's resolve burned brightly. They fought not only for survival, but for the future of their world. With every moment, they proved that they would not be defeated, and that together they could overcome any challenge. The battle was finally over, and silence fell over the vastness of space. The remnants of the alien fleet floated in the darkness, broken and defeated. Commander Sarah Thompson and her crew of the USS Valor looked around at the destruction they had caused. The once menacing alien ships were now just debris, a testament to humanity's strength and resilience. As the USS Valor navigated back toward Earth, a mix of relief and sadness washed over Sarah. They had won the battle, but the cost was heavy. Many lives had been lost, both on the human side and among the aliens. Sarah knew they had fought bravely, but the memories of the fallen weighed heavily on her heart. "Status report," Sarah said, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. Lieutenant Garcia turned to her with a somber expression. "We lost several Dreadnoughts and many crew members are missing. The fleet is damaged, but we held our ground." Sarah closed her eyes for a moment, absorbing the news. They had achieved victory, but at what price? We need to honor our fallen comrades. We should hold a memorial when we return to Earth, she said, determined to remember those who had fought alongside them. As the ship approached Earth, Sarah gazed out of the window at the planet that had been their home. It looked peaceful from space, a beautiful blue and green orb shining against the dark void. But she knew that below the surface, fear and grief still lingered. The people of Earth had suffered a terrible loss, and many were still reeling from the attack. When they landed, Sarah and her crew were met with cheers and applause. The people of Earth had gathered to welcome them home, grateful for their bravery. But as Sarah stepped off the ship, she felt a heaviness in her heart. The faces of the families who had lost loved ones haunted her thoughts. "We must remember why we fought," she whispered to herself. In the days that followed, the Earth began to heal. Memorials were set up in parks and public spaces, honoring those who had died in the attack and during the battle. Commander Sarah Thompson spoke at one of the memorials, her voice strong but filled with emotion. "Today we remember our heroes. They fought valiantly, and their sacrifice will never be forgotten. We stand here together, united as one people. We will rebuild and we will emerge stronger than ever." The crowd listened intently, their eyes filled with tears. They were all united by the pain of loss, but also by the hope for a better future. Sarah's words resonated deeply, and she felt a sense of purpose. They had faced the darkness and survived. Now they had to look forward. As life slowly returned to normal, Sarah found herself reflecting on the battle and the lessons it had taught her. She had seen the best and worst of humanity during the fight. People had come together, risking their lives to defend their planet. But she had also witnessed fear and destruction, and it made her question the nature of war. Was it worth the cost? One evening, Sarah walked through the memorials that had been erected in honor of the fallen. She paused in front of a small plaque with Alex's name engraved on it. "I'm so sorry," she murmured, her heart heavy with sorrow. She had fought for him, for every child who deserved to grow up in peace. She vowed to continue her work, not only as a commander, but also as a protector of the innocent.